the FujiCast.
So welcome. Here is the FujiCast studio. Kev's over there, and I'm over here. Here's the desk. And we thought we'd do a little bit of a mop-up on some of the questions that don't necessarily appear on the show. So these are unique questions. Kev, you go for it. First bonus question that we've ever done.
First bonus question on the YouTube channel is from Phoebe in Pennsylvania.
Phoebe in Pennsylvania.
Doesn't say where in Pennsylvania, but Phoebe, PA.
Okay.
And she goes on to say, thanks for the podcast, yada, 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 yada. You guys are always talking about black and white images, yes. And also most of the books that you review on the website are black and white imagery. Yeah. She goes on to say, why is that? And is this something that manifests itself in your wedding photography, portrait photography? Can you make money from black and white photography? So firstly, I guess the crux of that question is, why do we like black and white photography so much? Well,
there's always the general thing about it being, and what's that phrase? Color's great for people's clothes, and black and white is great for the emotion or the soul, isn't it? That's one of the reasons I personally like black and white. I mean, the photography that I'm inspired by generally is all black and white. I love Tom Stoddart's black and white work in Eyewitness, the book. I love the greats that we talk about often on the show, the black and whites. I always come back to preferring a black and white image over a colour if it's emotional.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's an emotional exchange.
I think
really.
It drives your mind directly to the main source of the image, or the substance of the image, if you like. That doesn't mean that obviously colour pictures can't be good as well. It's not about that. And I do feel, and I don't know whether I'm going to get this is definitely not meant to be a sexist statement, but I do feel that more men are drawn towards black and white than women.
More men.
Warning.
We're in trouble.
I did say it's not meant to be a sexist statement. It's an observation that I think I've observed. Might be totally wrong. But that's the way I think. And
what's your favourite black and white image you've ever personally taken? Have you got a signature black and white? I know I've got one.
Best one, my favourite one I've taken.
We'll throw it up on the screen. The favourite one that you've taken.
Okay, so the one that has the most emotional impact is one of Albie crying.
Okay, why?
Tears rolling down his face. Because he's a git.
We're not talking about your dog.
No, bless him. No. Because it's Albie, and we grow up in this world where we photograph people inanely staring at cameras and selfies and fake pictures. And in this particular case, he was upset, and I took a picture of it, and he's crying. And of course, nobody wants to see their children crying. But in the future, that picture will remind us of that childhood and his little tears. And
or it'll be like, Dad, never show that photograph, please. Certainly not at my wedding.
Very possibly. Yeah. But I will be showing it at his wedding. Yes, and you'll be photographing that wedding.
We're still photographing weddings then.
40 years time.
Do you know what though?
What was your black and white then?
I think it definitely has to be it's a signature image. It's on my website. That is, it's another wedding one. It's the one where there's a hug going on, and the bride extends a hand and puts it around her mum's face, and there's an exchange going on between them that's really quite personal in terms of story, and in many respects it's a grab shot. And actually, we were talking the other day about horizons and having things straight, and this one's a bit cocked to one side. I couldn't straighten it. It was an image I couldn't straighten, and it's a really favourite image of mine because of the emotion between the mum and her daughter, and just out of frame you can see the edge of her is the mum of the groom. Love that picture. If this picture were in colour, you'd see the prams behind it and all sorts of gaudy colours and stuff. It has to be in black and white, not just for the emotion, but for the fact that otherwise you're going to start seeing stuff that I don't want you to see.
And I think Phoebe goes on to say, is there a marketplace for black and white in weddings, portraits, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And I guess there is. more so in portraits. I mean, we spoke to Lewis.
Can you sell it as its
Garvan.
own project,
Yeah.
own product, rather? Because I've tried that and I've failed.
tried it too, and it doesn't really fly. Some people do go for my black and white only coverage, but very few. And the reason why they go for it is because I give them a discount. You see, it's not a premium.
It's not the reason you want it to be a premium product.
Don't you? Yeah, absolutely. But it goes the other way around. But in terms of portraits and stuff, we spoke to Lewis Garvan. He does a vast majority of his stuff is beautiful black and white, and that's his signature. And people come to him specially for that, for sure. So yeah, I think it's there, and it is true. Most of my books are kind of black and white photography.
Do you have a favourite particular historical black and white photograph that you come back to? I have got one.
I know you've got the Lockerbie one.
Yeah. Horrific in all respects, but
I don't know. I mean, I have several going through my mind right now, but none of them are. I wouldn't say there's one iconic one that that I can kind of think of.
No. Too many.
Yeah. I guess but yeah. I mean, I'm thinking the reason why I'm chuckling to myself is because I'm thinking of the one.
There's a rude one or something.
It is relatively rude.
Yeah. I knew this. I knew
not that
when
bad.
You were struggling. I thought, here we go.
It's the it's the one. Do you remember?
You started now, so you have to tell us. Now you're in trouble.
What's her name? She was the streaker at Twickenham. Erica Rowe. Erica Rowe.
She became like a darling of the media for many years.
But that picture of the policeman holding his Bobby's hat,
holding the Bobby's hat over
her, things. Yeah, that's the picture that immediately came to my mind. You see, and that's why I chuckled a little bit.
God, chalk and cheese with our photographs. That particular one. Did she have a second part of the question?
That was it.
I forget.
Now, does it work in weddings? And it can.
Does.
And
it does.
Yeah. So, thanks, Phoebe from Pennsylvania.
The FujiCast.
New main episodes every Monday on all your favourite podcast apps.